In this tutorial, I'll explain how to use ReWire in Reaper. I'm sure many of you are big fans of applications like Reason and Ableton and would like to sync these up via the ReWire technology and use them in conjunction with Reaper. I'll show you how you can set up Reaper as your ReWire master host application and then sync it up with the ReWire slave application. I'll be using Ableton as my ReWire slave. If you're using another application, you may need to check the manufacturer's website to check the details on how to route it for ReWire, but the basic principles should be the same. I'll show you how to get the audio from Ableton into Reaper, but it's also possible to send MIDI back and forth between the applications. But in this one, we'll just focus on the audio side. Here's the process. Make sure you launch Reaper first, and then your ReWire application, or else you'll run into errors. So I've launched Reaper first, then launch your ReWire slave. Now create a virtual instrument track, go to Track, insert virtual instrument on new track. Go under ReWire, you'll see the list of devices that are available for ReWire. Let's click on Ableton, and it'll bring up this box here. This shows you can do MIDI send to ReWire, audio from ReWire, or MIDI from ReWire. We're going to be using audio from ReWire. It shows you here that the stereo left and right outputs from Ableton will be going to channel 1 and 2. You'll see in Ableton, I've got 4 tracks. And from the outputs, I've chosen the ReWire out. And it's going to the mix left and right. Now when I play back my audio in Reaper, you'll hear the Ableton stereo out coming through this track. And you'll see that they synced up together. That's great. But what if you want different tracks from your ReWire device to come through different tracks in Reaper? This is how you do it. Okay, first in Reaper, let's create some new tracks. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to have my drums on here. This will be my acoustic guitar. This will be the electric guitar. And my synths. Let's jump across to Ableton. I don't want these to go to the stereo out anymore. I want them to go to separate bus channels. This will go to bus 3 and 4, this to 5 and 6, this to 7 and 8, and the last one to 9 and 10. Now what I need to do is click on the input-output of this virtual instrument. From there, I want to go to here and say Add Sends to all tracks. You'll see it brings up a list of tracks here. These are all the tracks that are represented here. Now on track channels, let's increase this. Let's change it to 10. And you need to change these audio inputs over here. For this one from the drums, I need to get from 3 and 4, from the 3 and 4 bass from Ableton. From the acoustic guitar, it'll be 5 and 6. The electrics will be 7 and 8. And the synths will be from 9 and 10. Now click on the Effects button again, and just make sure you're under the Audio from ReWire. The only thing we have active is channels 1 and 2 for the left and out. Now run through the rest of these. Right click on them and choose channel 3, channel 4, channel 5, right click channel 6, channel 7, and just continue till you get to channel 10. Okay, that's what we want. Close this window, and now when you play back the audio, you'll see that there's signal on these other tracks. You've got your main virtual instrument, and if I click through here, you'll hear the drums. Over here, the acoustic guitars, the electric guitars, and the synths. And what the beauty of this is, if you go to the mixer window, what you've got are sends where you can adjust the level of each ReWire track, and it's got Ableton on it, and then you can add separate processing per each track. Let's say, for example, on this acoustic guitar, I wanted to add a delay and change some of the settings here. And then on the electric guitar, let's add a pitch effect. And close that. And you can pan things around, change the levels if you want. And that's how to make use of ReWire in Reaper using audio. Next up, I'll explain how to make use of templates in your projects.